Okay guys, so let's talk about number 8 real quick. So trapezoidal rule really just means you're finding the area of the intervals as trapezoids instead of rectangles. So if they said go from 1 through 5, this is kind of a quick sketch of what that graph would look like. Basically, I'm finding the area of this trapezoid plus the area of this trapezoid and so on. So there should be 4 of them. Luckily, they said go from 1 to 5, so 4 trapezoids just fit perfectly. I don't have to worry about fraction intervals or anything like that. So trapezoidal rule is kind of a shortcut for that. You do not have to use the shortcut. So if that formula is kind of like messing with you and you're like, I don't like that, you don't have to memorize that. If you see trapezoidal rule, just find the area of each of these trapezoids. So what that would look like is this. It's kind of messy here. Hold on a second. Okay, so let's see if I can get it all in there. So let's start out over here. So this one is the first trapezoid. So how did I come up with that? Let's look at this again. So if you look at your first point here, if you look at what the y value of that would be, that's your base 1, and the y value of this one would be your base 2. So if you plug 1 into the function was x square root of 2x plus 1. So it was this x square root of 2x plus 1. So if I plug 1 in here, this would be 1 times the square root of, this would be 3 altogether. So that's where this is coming from right here. 1 square root of 3, that's base 1. Plus base 2, if I plug 2 in there, that would be 2 square root of 5. So this section right here came from the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. The height in this case, guys, is really what looks like the base. It's this right here. That's the height of it. So when I think about a trapezoid, I should be thinking about base 1 and base 2 being my parallel sides. Okay, so then my second one would be 1/2 base 1 plus base 2. In this case, that'd be 2 square root of 5 because it was the same as this one, plus 3 square root of 7, which would have been this one plugged in, times the height again is 1. So you keep doing that for all of them. What I did wrong when I did this previously is I left out, I believe it was this last one, this last trapezoid. I think I did maybe 0, I can't remember. I'll go back and look. So when I find all of those, then I add all of that up, I end up with this 33.567. Remember, on the AP exam, they will be asking you to round your answers to 3 decimal places. That third decimal place can be truncated or rounded. Truncated means you just drop off everything behind it. You don't round it, you just leave it. So this could have been a 6, or it could be a 7, which is what the answer would be if it was rounded up. They would count either answer, doesn't matter. Okay, so let's look back at what I did on the previous one where I had messed it up. So that's this one right here. So the formula is this, b minus a over 2n. So where does that come from? Basically, it comes from, you've got 1/2. So I'm going to take this and put it in parentheses. This is really 1/2 times, here's my interval. I went from 1 up to 5, and I'm dividing by the number of trapezoids that I need. If I take that and divide it by that, I get 1. That's my base that I came up with for each of my trapezoids. So this is really 1/2 times 1. That's where that comes from. All of these inside here are just those numbers plugged into my function, but remember how a couple of them showed up twice. So in this one right here, 2 plugged into the function shows up for this trapezoid and for this trapezoid. So that's why it's 2 times, so that one is right here, 2 times 2 plugged into the function. 1 plugged into the function was only there once. 3 plugged into the function was there twice because it was 2 of them. 4, this is where I had messed up. I stopped right here, like 4 was the end of my intervals, and that is not the case. So right here, I should have taken 2 times 4 plugged into the function. And then I also should have plugged 5 in. So if you look down here, I kind of added in, oh yeah, I forgot 5 square root of 11. And this would now be 24 instead of 12. So when I added all of that together, I ended up with this answer, which, like I said earlier, you could leave this as 33.566, or you could round this up and say this is 33.567. Either of those answers are acceptable on the AP exam. I feel like your whole life you've been told to round, so I would probably round, but in case you are off by a tiny bit, they give you a little bit of wiggle room, and they say you can truncate it as well. Okay, so I hope that helps with number 8. Please let me know if there is something else you want me to go through. Tomorrow we will start the next unit, Unit 5, because we can't really assess over this until we return. So let me know if there's anything else you want me to talk about. Thanks.